Hi everyone, today we are going to go through the strategic planning and policies. So this document basically help us to define some kind of roadmap, what kind of strategies we need to take in our organization to prevent organization assets from the cyber attacks. So this very first slide regarding the high level strategic plan that basically define the overview and objective. Like I saw cybersecurity strategy, what we are going to define is basically a high level plan for how any organization will secure their assets during the next upcoming of years. And basically these security strategies can be developed to fill the security gaps between the current and the planned capability while allowing for the network and the security constraints and the threats. So basically, the security strategy plan goal, which we are definitely going to discuss, is to give the management the knowledge they need to decide how much money they need to invest in the security. And it ties the security function to the company's overall direction to secure the business from potential cyber threats. Right. This is basically our ultimate goal. So let's have a look the high level strategic plan. So this is basically showing a high level strategic plan, which we gonna discuss in more detail. So IT and information security governance, risk management, IT and security compliances, and security controls implementation and testing. So these are the major uh, basically the highlighted items which we have to make sure have been implemented in the right way in our organization to secure our organization assets from any kind of potential cyber attacks. So these are the initial layers, and you see here the governance, risk, and the compliance, how important they are. You're gonna see different internal components over there, and it's a continuous life cycle which we have to keep executing. And different individual having a different roles and responsibilities, and different department have the different roles and responsibilities to keep executing those. So basically, you see, I'm not going to describe each and every component, but you will be having an idea. It's a continuous process cycle which we have to implement in our organization. And we do have different kind of security policies, but this is just for the sake of the awareness and how we need to get it improved, right? So the governance part, risk assessment part, security compliances, and the implementation of those are the major factors. Next slide, this high level strategic plan, what we have seen, if we're gonna drill down. So the people, process, and technology, these are some of the main components which we have to get it implemented and make sure that has been implemented in a right way from the policies perspective, from the implementation perspective. So information and the security management and the governance framework basically depends over the people, process, and technology. Right. So these are the very important components which we have to uh, keep considering across each and every part. Either it's a governance part, either is the security management part, and either is a implementation part. And the reason why we need to invest in the security, there are so many reasons. Some of the reasons I have listed down, like uh, um, like as the cyber attacks are growing day by day, so we have to protect our organization, and we should not be fallen in any kind of lawsuits. And there are so many reasons, so we have to keep securing our infrastructure from all of those kind of cyber attacks. Let's have a look some of the cost saving in a long run. Some of the people, they don't implement the security controls and they don't set up the governance and the policies to save the money. But in a long run, it's going to be not beneficial, but it's going to be a more cost. Like you could be having a loss of income, you could be having the company's reputational damage, you could be having a possible lawsuits or business or work interruption. So many issues you could face, and might be you would be ending up by paying more money instead of saving a money. So that's how we need to make sure we should have some kind of budgets already reserved for the information security and uh, for the entire cyber security. And the strategic responsibility wise to get this implemented. So first of all, it's gonna start from the upper layer to the down layer teams. So the board of director and the executive level of C-level of positions, they are going basically to responsible to have some kind of set up the governance policies like IT governance and the security governance or the PCI compliance. So the different types of compliances. So they are basically responsible to build those kind of governance, and they're gonna basically reserve the budgets. They're gonna basically provide the guidelines and the procedures by following the industry level different kind of standards, which we're gonna see later on. But that's their role and responsibility. On the downstream and on the downside, the manager, the technical manager, and the technical employees like the security team or the network team or the system team, they have to get it implemented. But the policies and the procedures that need to be driven and provided by the higher level of management. Division strategic plan. So definitely, like the cyber security protection can be achieved by the combination of three below different factors like the people, process, and technologies, as I already said in the previous slide. So we have to make sure all of the three combination uh, uh, has been used across in any technical domain. Like when we are talking about the IT governance, right? So we have to follow all of these three should be considered. So let's see one by one, like we have discussed couple of the department and the roles and the responsibilities and the so what different kind of the roles and the department and from the division strategic plan we should be having. So if we're gonna see from the processes wise, so that need to be governed by the IT governance department. They basically define the processes that ensure the effective and efficient use of IT or security control in an organization to achieve the security goals. The second one is people or roles. Any technical department who can perform their own technical role defined by the company, like the security controls, compliance, and what technology experts we are needing. So people, each and every people or role belonging to any technical department, they should have some control. Technology, like engineering department. So technology, each and every guy should not definitely depending over their technology who is working on different technology. So basically a specific kind of skill set of people that are required who work on the different technology. So usually the professional security architects of engineering department, they are required to plan, design, and adopt best practices security technologies as per the industry standard, and they're gonna make sure right technology has been adopted, which gonna fulfill the business requirement. And they, before they get it implemented in the production, they always test it in the lab. And on the downstream side, we should be having an engineers to get it implemented and to operate it and to manage it and definitely to monitor it. The next couple of strategic planning decision like the security functions, IT administrator or engineer of any hardware, software or the system or application, they are basically responsible for enforcing their security policies to secure the systems. So we should be having different kind of security engineers might be under the security department umbrella or might be under the network umbrella. The next one is the compliance in standard like IT compliance guideline developed by the regulatory bodies for engineering and the designing infrastructure must be followed to avoid government penalties. So we should be following some kind of standards like if we are dealing with some kind of health information. So HIPAA is one of the guidelines. If we are dealing with any European uh, uh, companies for vendor management or for any kind of external communication with any European, then GDPR we need to follow. And for example, PCI, like the payment card industry, if we have credit card information, and I believe in our company, all of these are applicable to us. So we have to comply all of these security and standards. So whatever be the security controls defined by these under these standard, we should comply and implement all of those controls. But prior to get it implemented, we should have each and everything in document. So that's being governed by the governance and IT security governance policies. Governing rules, definitely the same thing. what I have explained, like all of the network and the system or IT management, these need to be governed, and these should be mentioned under different kind of document like information security management, IT risk management. So all of these need to be documented. And regulations, cybersecurity regulation are laws that govern the types of measures an organization must take to protect itself, its data, and its customer from cyber threat and data breaches. So we should be having some kind of regulations which we need to definitely follow. Security policy, security operation department team is responsible to keep updating the security policies. It's not like a one-time implemented policies that need to be keep implemented. This is you see here IT security framework. So we would be having like different kind of security framework adoption option. It's not like each and every need to be implemented. We're gonna adopt a few to get it implemented in our environment. So from tactical plan perspective, from the implementation plan perspective, this is uh, the framework which we are going to adopt, and this is going to be the plan which we have to adopt. So we're going to adopt the model, the NIST, National Institute of the Standard and Technology for the Cybersecurity, which basically provide a set of guidelines and best practices to reduce the cybersecurity issues, risk, and it's gonna prioritize and ensure alignment with other sector. So we want to discuss one by one, definitely. So this is basically the framework which gonna provide us the better security. So the very first part is the cyber capability. We need to first build up the cyber capability, like we have to protect and detect. So that's being delivered and that's being driven by the security design and the implementation team. Since we already having a security design and implementation team, so they are also responsible for this kind of capability. Cyber resilience, like respond and recover, like the incident response team. In case we are under the attack, so we should be having our own incident response team who should respond back and who should stop and recover the threats, and they're gonna take a couple of defined actions. The third one is cyber communication, identify security monitoring team. They're gonna keep monitoring the security threats and the vulnerabilities and the logs which they are receiving from the network gears. And they're gonna basically identify uh, what are the ongoing threats. Cyber education, like we have to protect our cyber infrastructure. So security design and implementation team, they also need to basically own this responsibility, like to protect the environment by making sure like we are up to date with the updated security controls and the policies. So operational plan, basically cyber security since is a crucial to the business operations. So we have to make sure like right policies have been in place. And the operational plan also basically depending over the risk management and the implementation. Risk management document that definitely need to be provided by the management. Like I have not listed here different type of document, but that need to be calculated by and provided by the higher level management. Like for example, cyber incident response plan, DR plan, BCP plan. So those need to be be provided by and IT governance policies, and those all need to be, and what are the calculated risk in under which situation, how what series of actions we have to be taken. So the implementation team has to follow that. These are like some important like operational part. Okay, the next one is the operational plan, like coordination of framework implementation. So how this operational plan need to be implemented. So a common flow of information and decision at the following level within an organization need to be implemented. So there are three different, basically, I would say kind of layer or the framework, or like one is the executive level. The executive level communicate the mission priorities, available resources, and overall risk to tolerance to business or process level. So that's going to be on the top level from executive level. They basically define the highlights and the priorities. Businesses or processes, the business or process level uses the information as input into the risk management process, and then they collaborate with the implementation or the operation level to communicate business needs, and they create a security profile and the policies. So on the higher level to that lower level, the business or the process that need to be communicated. implementation or operations. For them, definitely the executive layer is not definitely transparent. They're gonna get the instructions in the form of the documentations, in the form of the processes, in the form of IT governance and the security governance and the policy documents, and they have to make sure to implement the right security control as defined in the best practices. So let me show you in a workflow document. So this is the workflow design drawing, which is showing the overall procedure, how it's gonna work. So the executive level or the management, they basically define and they basically approve the business level objective. So the senior level executive level, they basically focuses over the organizational risk and priorities, and they improve, and they define the budgets, and finally it's get transferred to the business or the process level. So then it comes to the technical level. So after getting the budget priorities and the approved infrastructure related item on this level need to be defined, like that there is most probably be our engineering layer, where we going to design what technology need to be adopted and what physical or logical controls need to be implemented by adopting any particular technology. Like for example, from the firewall perspective, we're going to take the decision what vendor we need to adopt, what is the best practices security a firewall we have to implement in our infrastructure, and that's going to be the keep going process. So the upper layer is the management layer, and on the downside you're gonna see the implementation, and it's going to be keep rolling. So you see, it's not only the buying and deploying the product. After like for buying, procuring, and deploying the product, we should keep updating our security policies, and the critical infrastructure need to be monitored, and it should be always the assets for any kind of vulnerabilities and the threats. So it's the ongoing cycle. So this is basically what we need to get it implemented in our organization. And it's not about the security and the network or the system's technical control. It's all been driven from upper level to the lower level. So you see the more management uh, skill set is required, as well as the technical skill set is required. So it comes from upper level to the lower level. So hopefully this strategy gonna work for us, and you guys get the overall ideas how security is very important, and how we need to get it implemented, and how we need to make sure like the right governance, compliance, risk, and the security technical controls, we need to get it implemented in our organization from policy till to the implementation. Thank you. Hopefully you're gonna like this presentation. Thank you. See you. Bye.